No, I got you on this one, Coach. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. But we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Come rock with me. We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the fanatic, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the southeast from state to state? What team hungry gon' eat everything up off they plate? Who the next one that's really gon' step up and be great? Yeah, the FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see. I love the fans like they part of my team. Yeah, part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Part of my team. I love the fans like they part of my team. Yeah.
Welcome into the Fanatic Sports Channel for sports fans by sports fan. It's your boy Coach I. All right, man, we're in here for another episode of Inside the Locker Room presented by the Tailgate Kings. All right, man. We in here tonight, man. It is South Carolina Gamecock week, man. It's time to cook some chicken, man. So without further ado, let's bring in our esteemed panel. Y'all already know who first up the bat, man. It's the man with all the energy, the man that keeps us rolling. Former DB from UGA, Erik Robinson. E-Rob, what's up, dog?
What's up, Coach? Hey, another week, another Dogs victory. Dogs on top. You know what I'm saying? Look, man. Something happened this week, and the first 2 weeks, and I knew it happened, but I didn't really realize. Nobody's seen our end zone in 2 weeks of football. No end zone, starting to feel like some deja vu around this piece. You know what I'm saying? Another thing, 2 weeks. That's all it took, Dog Nation, and we back on top. We back on top of the college football mountain where we belong. And you know what, Coach? When that decision came down, I saw a lot of activity on the media that is social. A lot of people had a problem with that. Listen, if y'all got a problem with it, do something about it. We ain't hard to find. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you the easy directions. Come right up 85, bust it right on 316, and keep riding till you hit your head on the stadium. We'll be there. We'll leave the light on for you. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs, man. Next up, that's what I'm talking about. Next up, man, the man behind the Tailgate Kings, a man in a long line of great tight ends at the University of Georgia. We talking my man Jevaris Johnson. JV, what is popping, dog?
Look at him. Look at him, folks.
We can't hear you. Let me see if I can help you out. I'm trying to unmute you, dog. You got to unmute yourself, dog. Look, you got to come in ready. We can't hear JV.
He too crunk, baby.
Hey, he was so crunk. He didn't even allow us to have his sound. So while we wait on JV, man, let me bring in my guy. Hey, man, we know E-Rob play baseball, but this is our two-sport athlete, man, the track guy, the football wide receiver, former wide receiver at the University of Georgia, Stad Shawty Parker. What's going on, Shawty?
What's going on, man? Tell JV take them damn shades off. It might work. But listen, man, we all having technical difficulties. As you can see, my back screen ain't working, but I'm here. I got all the smack. I'm ready for the business. Let's go. Let's get it.
That's right. Let's try to bring JV back in here. Come on, JV. The man, listen, let's try this again. One of the men that got the tight end lineage started in Athens, man. We talking about Jevaris Johnson, former tight end at the University of Georgia. JV, what's popping, man? Take yourself off of mute, dog. You so hyped up you can't take yourself. Y'all, hey, JB can't get off mute. He's so high. South Carolina in trouble this week.
We cooking chicken, baby.
Hey, while we
still on mute.
No, listen. I tell you what we'll do. What we'll do is we'll put you backstage. Now listen. We got tight ends on tight ends on tight ends,
Man.
just like in Athens right now, and a little bit different this week, man. Our special guest gonna come right in and pop it, man. We talking about another one of them great tight ends that started that lineage at Georgia. We talking about a guy that played in 97, 98, went on to play 9 years in the league. Played for Super Bowl champion Patriots. We talking about tight end Jermaine Wiggins. Ring me, baby. What's up?
Bring him in, coach.
You had to bring a northern dog down in the south. You know what I mean?
Yo, Wig, what up, yo?
What up, man? I'm getting memories because I'm remembering how everybody down in Georgia sounds right now. I got to get past southern slang, so they had to bring a northern bulldog down onto the south, you know, because we got the north on lock, so I had to come down and bring a little bit of that northern flavor, you know, that northern bulldog.
Bring it, baby.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Hey, I got your counterpart in here now. I think he ready to roll. JV, tight end, former tight end at the University of Georgia, Jevaris Johnson. What's up, JV? Look like you ready to roll, dog.
Yeah, yep.
You still ain't ready to roll? You can't hear us?
You can't hear us? Oh, man.
Dad, what do you got to do? We got to put some more quarters in on it.
and take them cheap earbuds out.
That's what he got to do. He got to plug in. He got to plug in with the connection.
Right. Right. He did a little too high tech for the JV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Plug it in.
You got to get rid of them Rayquans and give him some beats. Ray J headphones.
Raise your budget.
That's
JV.
right. That's right, man. So, hey, Wiggs, tell us what it's like up north with the dog present up there, man. The dogs making a statement up north too?
Man, you know, we hold it down a little bit up here. You know, it is Patriots country, but we hold it down. We got some dogs up here. It's just, you know, with college football is king in the South. So up here, I got to let them know that, you know, we wear the crown around here. So they got BC and that's really about it. They can't even step on the same field with us. But yeah, man, we definitely support our Bulldogs. It's great to see them do well, and finally they doing well because you got to have play from the quarterback. For so many years, I used to say, when they gonna get a quarterback? Now I know Stetson Bennett is kind of playing better than we seen in that defense. And you got to remember this too. Georgia come up north to get some boys. They had Lewis Seen, and then they got that young buck coming in next year, Janelle, who's from up in this Massachusetts.
Yeah, the running back. Yeah, the running back. Yeah.
We got a few dudes, and I think Arthur Lynch was from up here too in Massachusetts.
Yeah, yep.
So
hey, no Sean Moreno. Yeah, we got some few people up there. Let's say what's up. Let's say what's up to the dogs in the comment. We got Shelby in the comments. Yeah, Shelby is. Hey, let's go on. She said, let's talk dogs, but seriously, last week was it was a little boring, man. We'll get into that a little bit. We got a South Carolina. We got a South Carolina fan in the house. He said, "Welcome to UGA Hate Week." Okay, stat guy. Make sure you stay for your medicine there, stat guy. AP in the house. What's going? That's right. We welcome them all. What's going on, AP? All right, you're right. Another great week, my man. We got Roderick Liggins in the house. Let's go. Ready for another episode. That's what I'm talking about.
Shout out my new Q dog.
Hey, Wiggins say, AP say, what's up, Wiggins, my dog? AKA Track Dog. You and OG put him on game. Okay. We got Wallace Smith in the house. What's good, fellas? What's good, Wallace?
Yeah. That's what's up.
That's right. Who else we got? Got Jonathan Grant in the house. Interesting point there, Jay Wiz. There we go. Big question is TP3 finally a believer in Stet the Jet? I think Thad was converted last year along with myself, towards the end of the season. So I think I can speak for Thad and think Stetson is who it is. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, let's test JV out one more time. JV, are you ready?
Hey man, I think I'm ready. I'm having all kind of technical difficulties.
There you go.
Hey, look, And we just to let you know, I heard you talking that squirrely stuff, bro, with them duck feathers. I heard you.
Hey, you gotta get you some beats, man. Hey,
it's all
headphones
love.
alone, man.
Tight end on tight end cry.
Hey, man, our producer be all in our videos, man. We don't get no money.
You sound like Suge Knight now.
You Suge Knight them, ain't you, boy?
Hey,
we miss it. Man, good to be here finally with you fellas, man. Appreciate your wigs jumping on with us, man. It's a pleasure.
That's
to see
right,
you,
man.
brother.
That's right, man. This is what we rolling with today. Couple of our homies couldn't make it in tonight, so we're gonna roll on with the show. Y'all know how we start this thing out, man. We started out with start, bench, cut. That's right, start, bench, cut. Today, start, bench, cut. Like we say, man, all these guys are good, and we put them on the field. We trust them. We know they dogs, but hey, at the end of the day, somebody get on the field first, somebody on that bench, and somebody gonna have to wait their turn. Kendrell Bell. We talking inside linebacker. We talking Kendrell Bell, Odell Thurman, and Roquan Smith. We're gonna let our guest of honor start the party off right. All right, Wiggs, what you got, man? Who you starting, who you benching, and who you cutting?
Well,
Put him on the spot.
Like my man Drake said, I'm gonna start from the bottom and make my way up. So if I gotta cut one person, I hate to do this because we was teammates when we played together in the UFL. Is my man Odell? If I got to cut one person, I just I gotta do it. He was a thumper. So I know that for sure, and a couple times we done went head to head. So that's the way I look at it, right? So and then I move my way on up, and I obviously got to go with Kendrell Bell. It's a little bit before my time, so I don't know everything about him. So I'm gonna go right to the dude that I know a lot about, and I'm gonna go to my starter.
He was after you, week.
Because that's the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
When you talking about NIL deals, this dude got to get money, and that's Roquan Smith. I know Chicago ain't trying to pay him, which I don't really get. My man has been second team All-Pro player, SEC Defensive Player of the Year, can go sideline to sideline, can bring it. So you have me on the show. We should be doing tight ends.
No, man, we ain't talking about no damn
It's just so many of them. Speaking of tight ends, JV, you up the bat, my brother. Who you starting, benching, and cutting?
Hey, man, I'm going to go in the opposite direction. I always had to start with the guy who I'm going to put on the field first. And if I'm going to put somebody on the field first, man, I'm going to go ahead and run with Kendrell Bell, man, the rookie of the year of the NFL, a guy who came in to the University of Georgia and was completely an unreal player. He actually came after you, bro.
He came after
me? He was stomping me.
Oh,
when I was I can attest to it. I think Bell had something kind of different inside of him that's called lunacy. That man was absolutely an animal on that field. I don't think that there was a wall that he couldn't run through or would run through. Let me just say that he wouldn't run through. So he would be my starter. I'm gonna go with Roquan Smith coming up second, man, because I think he's just a phenomenal athlete playing linebacker. The guy, like we said, went from sideline to sideline. He filled a hole. He blitzed. He did everything. He was in coverage. The man was a phenomenal linebacker. And unfortunately, Odell is in a class of guys that, you really can't say much and add any really negative to. He just is the last of the great few. Right. He has to go ahead and catch the out on being able to, play in the lineup with these guys, but that doesn't take anything away from the Odell Thurman show. The boy, I used to call him hot like oil light, because his oil light always was on. He was always hot. But with that said, man, that's my starter, Kendrell Bell. That's my backup guy, Roquan Smith, and then the guy who I got to let go because the other two were just so phenomenal, Odell Thurman.
All right, man, there it is. All right, Shawty, you up the bat, dog. Who you starting, benching, and cutting?
Well, man, all these guys were studs, as already been mentioned. But I'm going to say something about this guy right here. Like, I don't know if you guys know, some people are just bred and made to play football. You know what I mean? When you come out the womb, body already ready. You ready to put the helmet on, get a chin scratch, just throw the mouthpiece in the baby mouth. You know what I mean? And he has come up on this show more than once.
Yeah,
but my
Bell, I know you're talking about.
The Terminator. We call him Terminator for a reason. Kendrell Bell. Nothing could stop this guy. I'm gonna be honest with you. Nobody might don't want to say this, but the man ran his own plays on defense. Coach would call something. This man would run his own play and get a sack. You know what I mean? So when you talking about linebacker, inside linebacker, JB already alluded to it. He won, NFL Defensive Player of the Year. This guy was a linebacker guy. He even looked like a linebacker in his regular clothes. He looked like a football. You know what I'm saying? We all know Raekwon. I mean, he did it all for us, man. I mean, he was the guy. He was the man during his time here. So I'm going to go ahead and put him on the bench. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut Odell. No slight Odell.
Absolutely.
I knew all three of these guys. Well, I didn't know Raekwon as well, but I knew all these guys. And unfortunately, you got to cut somebody. So I'm going to finish the drill and cut Odell.
That's what's up. We say the defensive guy for last, man. E-Rob, what you got on it, dog? Who you starting in front of you? Who you benching and who you cutting?
All right, so I'm gonna go in the order that Big Wiggs went. So I'm gonna go with the dude I'm cutting. And again, before I say anything, I don't like this. I'm just gonna say that, right off the bat. But I'm gonna cut Odell Thurman. Unfortunately, the dude may play for Georgia. We know that. I mean, whatever. I ain't even gonna get into it. Coming off the bench is gonna be Kendrell Bell. Look, man, same thing Shorty said. Everybody that comes on this show, every guest that we bring on this show brings up Kendrell Bell. So there has to be something to that. The guy was a damn terror on the damn field. There's no doubt. But starting Roquan Smith, you talk about making impact plays. You talking about leading the team. And, man, there's so many superlatives I can say about Roquan Smith. I ain't even going to do it. I ain't going to take up too much time. Roquan Smith is going to be my starter. Kendrell Bell coming off the bench, and we got to cut Odell, but they all DGDs, baby.
That's right, man. That's right. They all damn good dogs, man. So we only got our special guest for a limited time today, so we are going to jump right into it, man. We're going to jump into this South Carolina preview. I'll say a little bit about last week. We was playing Sanford. There's a lot of things. We didn't execute very well. We scored a lot of points in the first half, but there's more to be. We left a lot of points on the field. I think there was some lack of focus from the offense there. Kirby had a pre-arrangement with the coach, to play a shorter fourth quarter. Kirby got history with the guy, gave him his first job as a DB coach. His dad used to coach at Sanford. All that good jazz. But on to South Carolina, man. We're talking about our offense versus South Carolina. South Carolina got one of the better DBs in the SEC in Cam Smith. They got a couple of 5-stars along that front. Jordan Birch, Zach Pickens. They got a couple of guys. Shorty, what you thinking we need to do coming out this week? Because in 2 games, man, we ain't really pressed that issue of running the ball. What you thinking this week?
Well, I don't even know if it's necessarily pressing the issue. I just know we haven't really gotten it done. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think we rank right now, granted it's early in the year, we're ranked number 10th in the SEC in rushing. And at the same time, your leading rush is also your leading passer. So we got to get things going in the run game and pass game. I mean, we're scoring a lot of points. The pass game looks great. But once again, your leading receiver is a running back. So that means we're doing a lot of check downs, or he just making a lot of big plays when he's catching it short. Either way it goes, we got to be able to stretch the field on offense, and we have to be able to open up holes and not let our running backs, have to break tackles, at the 1 and 2 yard line of scrimmage.
That's facts, man. Wiggs, what you think is a play into that? You've been watching the Dogs. You know what it takes to have a good run game. What you think we need to do better?
Does he?
Well, I mean, I think when you look at the run game, that's always been Georgia's MO, right? And to me, the football has changed in college football. So I'm not really, I ain't tripping if you ain't running the ball, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to win throwing the football. That's what's going to come down. It's going to come down to like we've seen in the past what Stetson Bennett could do. When we saw Georgia and they had what's my man from up in playing for the Buffalo Bills, Jake Fromm. You got to have a quarterback. That's what it comes down to. If your quarterback can't throw the football, then sooner or later offenses are going to be able to move the football. It's about you being able to throw the football. You look at what Bowers was able to do last year in that national championship game. You'll be able to run the football. Georgia's always done that. I mean, we had running backs since before I got there, you know, with Robert Edwards, Olandis Gary, Garrison Hurst. You want to go all the way back to Herschel Walker. But to me, the most important thing is to continue to throw the football and make sure you get to that level where Stetson Bennett is one of those quarterbacks in college football where you can count on him and his arm.
That's what's up, man. I think that's true. And last week, to allude back to the Sanford game, JV, Stetson had some overthrows, but like one ball in particular that we usually see Brock Bowers come up with, that first touchdown pass attempt. You know, I know he had to do a 360 pirouette type deal in the air, but we normally see him come down with it. Was it a lack of focus because of the opponent, or what was going on last week?
Man, you know what? I'm not 100% sure because I can't necessarily put my finger on it. But what I feel like it was, man, you know, kind of getting back to the point of the run, I'm with Wiggs. I like what we're doing on offense. But I also, sitting there at that game, didn't see when we tried to run the ball, our offensive line dominating a squad, a defensive line that was drastically undermanned against our holes. So we weren't opening up any gashing holes, any gaping holes. Our backs didn't have a lot of movement and a lot of room to be able to make moves before they got to the line of scrimmage. And we just didn't look polished. You know, I'll say that. That was the last time I said that we didn't look polished, man. Rick was the coach, I feel like. And so that's the only concerning part because these guys have stepped off the buses lately and have handled business from the onset of the game to the end of the game. Now, again, you have a week where you had, you know, overcast clouds, Sanford coming in. You know, of course, we read in press clippings, and I know Kirby tries his best to get these guys to make sure that they're hungry and going out to the games, realizing that, you know what, you ain't done nothing this year. Everything that's behind us is behind us. But, you know, it's inevitable, man. Human nature kind of falls on us all at one point in time. So I'm going to kind of chalk it up to us being a little complacent with the competition. But, again, this team that we're going to be playing this weekend, they're not a world beater. But you don't want to get shocked by a non-world beater. So you want to make sure you come to the game with your A1 material. You want to have your top shelf material when you step out there and handle that business. So throw the ball. When we decide to run the ball, run the damn ball, open up some holes, blow people off the ball, and get back to what we've been doing, which has been dominating the line of scrimmage. That's what has to happen. That's what I want to see coming up. And that's what I feel like will happen with our offense going into South Carolina.
JV has some good points, man. Like I say, I'm with him and Wiz, man, we ain't got to run it, but when we do try to run it, I need to be effective. You know what I'm saying? Like Kendall Milton's averaging 8.1 yards a carry or something like that. But, you know what I'm saying, it could be a lot more if we was opening up some holes. E-Rob, the defense is coming laser focused even when it's Sanford. What's the difference?
I think this defense has something to prove. They've heard all season about what they can't do, what they won't do, what they won't be able to do. So I think they have something to prove. Look, man, it comes down to this. I think JV just said it was human nature. I tell you what, the coaching staff loved it. They loved the fact that we had a cupcake, a game that we won by 33 points, and they can get on their team leading into this week right here. So we're going to look. I expect us to come out, like JV said, off the bus, ready to play some football this week. I think, it is what it is. It's Sanford. I think the coach is going to harp on you. Let Sanford, you couldn't run the ball on Sanford, and they're going to challenge their manhood a little bit this week. So it's bad for South Carolina, if you ask me.
Hey, Coach.
Go ahead, Thad. I was coming to you. What's up?
I was going to say one thing too. We kind of talked about the line being more physical at the point of attack. We also played 7 to 8 linemen this past weekend in rotation, so I don't know.
Week one, too, Thad.
Has his rotation down yet, so there could be some problem or lack thereof in the running game because we don't have the rotation down.
Yep.
Great
That
point.
is a good point. I think you're right. I think we've actually played 8 to 9 guys to Erod's
in the
point.
game,
We did. We played in crucial minutes against Oregon. I know for a fact we played 8 people. So maybe that's it. But speaking of the defense, man, going into this game, Shawty, you good at finding little stuff that maybe some other people don't see. What is it that you need to see out of this defense that you haven't seen? Because, like E-Rock kind of told at the beginning, man, we ain't let nobody in the end zone, but there's always room for improvement.
Always.
Well, me personally, I think what I would like to see, and I think a lot of the other guys would like to see, you want to get those turnovers and you want to get those sacks. But with that being said, we once again, we touched on this last week. A lot of it has to do with scheming. Right now, we're sending 4 guys against their 5. So I just think right now we just running somewhat of a base defense because we haven't had to really put ourselves in a situation where we need to send pressure. We're able to score 33 to zip without even sending any pressure. So as we move along in the schedule, I would like to see our defense start to get more of those turnovers, more of those pressures. I like to see a little bit more blitzing. But at this particular time in the season, we just haven't had to use it. So I'm not really concerned right now with the defense. Once again, it's just early in the season. We haven't really just had a chance to go in our bag yet.
Okay. Wiggs, to allude to what Thad was saying, do you think we'll have to do any of that against South Carolina since they got Spencer Rattler? Of course, they're going to try to probably pass more than they normally do.
Well, the one thing I would say about this is being in New England and winning a Super Bowl and understanding what it's like to be a champion, which Georgia now is, don't get caught in we could just roll our helmets out there and everybody's going to bow down. So that would be the one thing I hope that Kirby keeps these kids in a position where it's like, just because you got that G on the side of your helmet, people ain't just going to take a knee. You got a massive target on your back. But it always starts up front. And when you're talking about a Georgia defense, that's where it starts. And it started when I was playing, when we talk about guys like Seymour and Stroud, and you move on to Grant, and it's always about those players up front. You saw it last year with this football team and what they were able to do. You got guys like Trayvon Walker coming off the edge. You obviously big man who's now wrecking shop in Philadelphia. To me, the biggest thing is what that defensive line does, because like Dad said, you don't need to bring a lot of pressure, especially if you got 4-man rush that can get there every time. And if those boys up front can eat Nolan Smith, go hunt, then you make everybody's job in the back easier. E-Rob will tell you, if they know they got a quarterback got to get rid of the ball quick, I mean, that's money coming up in the air, interceptions all day. So for me, it's always about the guys up front.
Yeah, that's for real. And that's what I want to see. I think our young freshman, Mykel Williams, he's asserted himself definitely as one of those top dogs on that front line. Robert Bill looks a little trim. Who's impressed you on that defense, JV? What you looking at in that front seven, man?
Oh, man. I think that I'm going to roll with Mykel Williams, man, because I think I have pointed him out as a pivotal key new incoming freshman at the beginning of the season when we did a segment. I think that young man is going to be important to our future throughout the season. He's coming off that edge. He's coming off the edge like he's been here before. You know how the old folks say, hey, man, that baby been here before.
Yeah.
Been here before. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a guy like that. I'm looking at, you know what I'm saying, like to your point, I'm looking to actually see the guy on the other side of Mykel get some time and be able to get some run. And I want to see what that other young boy can do. And his name is evading me right now. But he was a freshman.
You talking about Marvin Jones Jr.?
Marvin Jones Jr.
He got some PT Saturday.
He got a little play. Yeah, he played a little bit.
Yeah, I want to see him go though. I want to see somebody pull that ripcord out the back. I want to see him start to spin around and knock a few people out the way. So, like for me, I'm looking at those young cats on the end still as being pivotal because to Thad's point, and I think somebody talked about it last week, we really haven't run anything special on defense. We ain't run no A-gap blitzes. We ain't bringing, 6 men against a 5. We ain't really got to. And if we are only still bringing 4 against 5 and our defense is pitching a shutout, that means our backfield is also pitching a shutout because a lot of times these quarterbacks are holding the ball, coach. It's not like they're overthrowing guys and throwing the ball away. They holding the ball. So our defensive backfield is like Jim Jones say, bowling.
Facts. I think I told somebody last year our defense was built front to back, and this year our defense is built back to front. And I think that'll help, along the season. Wiggs, you had mentioned the mental of the players. We got an early kickoff Saturday against South Carolina. Them 12 o'clock kickoffs, man. Y'all all played the game at the highest level. Wiggs, talk about playing a away game at 12 o'clock, man. What we looking at, man? We can't start slow now.
Right. Well, and everybody knows, like, playing in South Carolina, them fans gonna be rowdy, noise, the crowd, everything. Yep. So it's always about starting fast, right? And Kirby probably get them guys going. Like, everything is a business trip, and when we get there, it's about starting fast, and especially when you playing on the road, you want to take that crowd out of it. You want to put their foot on their neck, because that's, I think, where when you look at what Georgia has to do, that's what they got to do. You don't want to have one of those games JV talked about. You don't want to have one of them shock and awe games, and it's like, man, if we only was ready to go at the beginning, we wouldn't have lost that football game. So regardless if it's at 12 o'clock, if it's 8 o'clock at night, as soon as you step off that bus, your mindset should be like, it's time to get myself going. So I think Kirby will have them guys right. You
in the same mindset, E-Rob?
Man, like I said, man, the worst thing that could have happened in South Carolina was the game last week for Georgia. Even though we won 33-0, we didn't play good. It's on tape. Them coaches have been harping on it all week. And I just think that it's going to be a business trip. We're going to get off the bus, kick some ass, and come on back home.
Yeah, I'm with that. Especially, y'all know I told you, y'all know I live in South Carolina, so I'm definitely listen. I try to tell them that they not our rival. Really, they rival, but they not our rival. Look at Stat Guy. Yeah, Stat Guy say y'all gonna get in the end zone. Stat Guy, I'm telling you, that defense been lazy focused.
The only time they gonna get in the end zone is when they warm up, coach.
Man, you already know you gonna lose when that's what you talking about. We gonna get under. We gonna win. You just hope we can get in the end zone.
Hey, y'all better walk through the end zone when the game starts from the tunnel. That's the only time y'all gonna see you, my friend.
That's right. That's
right. That's what's up. Let's get to some of the comments from the dogs, man. We got Bulldog JC in the house, man. Go Dogs. That's what's up. Go. Shelby said she needs some fried chicken. Well, I gotta find that comment. There she goes. She said she ready to fry up that chicken this weekend. AP said he ready to fry it up too, man. I think, hey, listen, I think this will show how far Kirby has brought the guys mentally. Like you say, I think JV kind of alluded to, some of the times back in Ritt era. We love Mark Ritt, man. He won us 10 games a year on a regular, took us to some SEC championships. But sometimes we, in those era, we could show like a lack of focus like multiple weeks in a row, losing the teams we shouldn't. I think, us coming out like we did against Oregon showed how focused Kirby could get these guys. And then Wiggs alluded to that too, man. I think that's what needs to happen Saturday. We need to come out, show South Carolina, take that, right now who the king of the SEC is, and take that crowd out of it, because they will be rowdy. It don't matter if it's 12 o'clock. Them people don't act. They act like they don't know what bad football is, so they keep cheering for their team. You know what I'm saying? So.
You're taking shots today, Coach.
Number one team in the nation. It's all about opportunity. That's I don't care if you're coming to see all those 5 stars at Georgia. Guess what? These kids that 2 and 3 stars at South Carolina, you're gonna have to see us too. If you're looking for the 5 star, you're gonna have to see us because we're playing. So it's always about opportunity, and that's what they coach probably tell them. You got an opportunity to make some film for Sundays. You got an opportunity to be the number 1 team in the nation. It's all about opportunity, baby.
Yeah, it sounds good to them. It sounds good to them dogs on that field with you, though. That's all. That sounds great until it's game time.
You said something there, man. I want to ask y'all, man. Like JV, you from Bama, E-Rod, you from Florida, Wiz, you from up north, man. Like when y'all was playing for the Dogs, I think South Carolina plays us tough because they have a lot of guys from the state of Georgia that maybe wasn't as high a priority, you know what I'm saying, for the Dogs, and then they end up going somewhere else. And then is that a motivation? Like, I'm about to go home. Like, if we was to play a team up north with, you know what I'm saying, and they didn't show you no love, even if you didn't want to go there, they didn't show you no love. Is that motivation for you when you go back up north?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's always motivation, right? And I think that hit it even on like a bigger scale. To me, it's about proving that you can beat the top dogs, right? So if Georgia has always been this school, this state where like, yo, these is where the best players is from. I remember when I came down to Georgia, my whole point was to prove to everybody that just because I'm from
I
Boston,
hope you ain't jumping into my question, man. Be careful.
hey, just because I'm from Boston, don't get it twisted. I can compete. So now when Georgia has this massive bullseye on their back, right? And players from South Carolina, we saw it with Appalachian State and Texas A&M, man. We saw it with Notre Dame and Marshall. When you sitting on top of that throne, everybody's coming for your crown. And so if there are some guys from South Carolina who feel slighted because they're looked at as like, yo, you ain't good enough to play here, Georgia can't get caught slipping. And I think Kirby will have them in that position. Because even when I played in JV, and Thad will tell you this, and Ebro will tell you this, we got caught slipping a couple times when you shouldn't get caught slipping. And that's the biggest thing. You lose games when you go, wait a second, how we lose to that team?
Absolutely.
Yeah, having something to prove it is something big, and because we're gonna do something a little different tonight, that since we got limited time with our guest, Thad, go ahead and ask your traditional question right now.
Okay, so it's a little bit different for you because you came from college. You and Atlantis came from Marshall, so you were already college guys, and you already had some advantage of guys at UGA because you knew the offense. So my question to you is, you both guys came from Marshall and proved that you were Division I top level player. That's not the question. But my question to you would be this week: when you got to Georgia, what player impressed you that made you say, hey man, I got to get better, whether it be in the weight room, the playbook, working out, whatever it may be? What player impressed you to make you want to get better?
Man, I tell you, that's a good question, man. Man, that's such a good question because there were so many guys when I got there, like, you know, I think it was like you're in that situation and you're like, man, this is a whole nother level. Cats is like 5-star recruits. I don't know what this is, but I would say like, Dan, that's such a good question.
That's why I asked, dog.
Man, I'll tell you, you know what I would have to say? I would really have to say it would have been guys like Robert and Hines, right? Robert Edwards and Hines Ward, right? Because when I got there, these guys were like on that level. And so you started to see what that caliber of big time football was like, because we don't have big football up here in Boston. It's like NFL, Patriots football, that's it. So when I got to Georgia, I would definitely say it was like seeing cats like that, Stitch Combe and Chris Terry and them dudes. I was like, okay, you know, but the one thing I did say, and me and Olandis would always say, is like, we could play here. And our biggest thing is like, we had to prove to everybody, like everybody else, we had to prove that we deserved to be there. And, but I think it's just, and if I had to really say who had my head spinning, it would probably be Champ. I mean, I see them jumping in, we play basketball and I'd be like, damn.
Yeah, this dude's different.
I was like, what kind of water they got down here? Because surely don't get nowhere up near the Northeast at all when you got athletes like Champ Bailey. I was like, God damn.
Hey, we got another DGD in the house, another in the line of that tight end, man. Listen, LB say it was him.
LB hit me to the eye. He kind of hit me to the language. I had to learn the language down there. I was like, man, what is everybody saying? I was like, what is this? I was like, what's the shouting? I'm like, oh, you mean a shorty?
Damn, man, it's shouting, man. It's shouting.
So let me ask. So let me start. I can't even say it like you. Let me start like this. Okay. Here's my question to you. My standard question. We finally won the national championship. I know that you came down for Marshall, so I don't know, how strong the ties are. Here's my question for you. So, when we finally won, where were you the night that we won the national championship, and what was your reaction?
I was at the crib watching the game with my two boys, and I actually text Jonas, and obviously before the game, because Jonas down there doing like player development or high school relations or whatever, And so I had been watching Georgia for a minute now because I remember the national championship game that they should have won versus Alabama, but they forgot how to run cover 2. It's like, what happened there? I mean, the safety got to take that guy that's going down the sideline. Somebody got to cover him. So,
sometimes.
Yeah. So I remember, I've kind of been watching them for a minute. Obviously not like you guys watching them being down there, Yeah.
Right.
But so, for me, I was watching it with my kid. My kid actually wanted to stay up late to watch it because he had to go to school. And so we had let him stay up late to watch it because, I got him to be Bulldog fans,
Okay.
Here, so.
That's what's up.
Okay.
That's my guy right there.
Hey, we got him barking up here.
Let's go.
All right. People in the comments, dolls in the comments, you got a question for anybody on the panel. Let's get them in now, man. Let's get them in now. JV, you got any question for anybody on the panel tonight?
Man, I don't really have a question for anybody on the panel, but I just want to just let, since we got LB in the building, man. Hey, Wiggs, LB, I'm just going to let you guys know this, man. I continue to rave about the fact that we got the best tight end room, or not even tight end. We got the best room in the country right now.
Okay.
But back when I got to UGA, man, listen, I came into a room that was about 6 or 7 tight ends deep. The room was so deep, they even changed me over to defensive end for 3 days, but I had 3 days of defensive end and 3 straight injuries. I wasn't hearing that no more. I was good, man. Put me back on the offense.
You want to know about 205 too?
I ain't bad. I ain't 225, y'all. To get it right, man. I gained 20 pounds in 3 weeks. But serious business, man. I know one of you guys had asked this question before. I think we asked Terrence when he came in about people that he emulated, people that he got stuff from. I literally, man, toward that end of my first year, I was just soaking up so much of the knowledge and the grit and the game that Wiggs and LB had in their game and that they let out on the practice field and in our meeting rooms, man. Really, true story now, when I first saw Wiggs, I was like, this Negro don't play no doggone football back. Because Wiggs, I'm telling you, Wiggs, when I first saw him, I was like, man, come on. I'm about 4 inches taller than this guy, about, 200 pounds too. But Wiggs had the sweetest feet of any big man I've seen touch a football field. When I talk about hit him with that,
hit him with that.
He had it off. So listen, Wiggs, I just want you to know that, man. Like, I ain't never really talked to you about it, you or Larry.
Right.
But man, you guys really impressed upon me what it meant, what it took to be not just a guy who played, but a guy who took the craft serious. Right. A guy who knew how to booty block and a guy who knew how to shoot that chicken wing.
Get that way.
You know what's interesting, real quick, Coach? It's interesting. It's like, me and Larry, obviously we worked well together, man. He was too funny, and we had this great relationship. And you obviously are in awe of guys like that when you come from Boston and you start to see all these great players, and then you got young cats like JV and Randy McMichael come, and then it just kind of like, to be part of the tradition. That's the biggest thing for me. That's what makes me proud to be part of the Georgia Bulldog tradition and be part of that tight end room. Even though I know they want to call it running back university, it should really be tight end university. But that was the thing. And then I'll never forget, I gotta tell Thad this. Till this day, I still, when we used to call it up at the end of practice, Thad had this saying. I don't know if you remember this saying that you used to do when we call it up. It was
what's the saying, Thad? Don't get shot now. What you used to say, man?
Better way.
We all smoke that good stuff. But I remember it. I still got a few left. At the end of every practice, we used to call it up. We used to be like, Bulldogs on 3, 1, 2, 3 Bulldogs. And Thad used to be like, yay, yay. You remember that? I was like, is he from Georgia or California? But I still use it like
international.
Every time I'm around people, I'm like, yay, yay. Like, I feel like, and I'm like, that, I heard it from Thad kind of before I heard it from Ice Cube.
That's crazy. LB said Ray Goff tried him at DN too. JV. He told me he said he liked to catch touchdowns. So we got a question from the chat. for Wiggs. Stat guys say, what was the biggest difference between practice at Marshall and practice at UGA?
Good question.
Same coach.
the head coach was really the same, right? Jim Garner was so I would think like the biggest difference wasn't necessarily the practice, like because practice was the same. I think it's just the level of players that you're dealing with, right? Because at Marshall at that time was 1AA, and Georgia's obviously Georgia, was still a Power 5 in the SEC program. To see all the players and to see all the talent, so you have to be, and I think that's what breeds competition, is you have to stay on your P's and Q's. And like JV said, I'm 6'2" and some change, but I had to play the game with my little shakes and from the neck up and understand it. But I think the biggest thing in practice is just the competition was always on point. Guys constantly competing because everybody's talented,
That's right, man. I think that's how Kirby keeps it going this day. Go ahead, E-Rock.
Real quick, hey Wiggs. So coming down from Marshall to the SEC, going on the road, playing in these big road games in the SEC, which stadium stood out to you where you was like, man, wow, this is different, this is crazy right here?
Yeah,
which one?
I would say Tennessee. When
Me
we
too,
played
yeah.
at Neyland Stadium, and I'll never forget. And Tennessee was loaded. They had Javon Curse. What was the linebacker they had? Al Wilson.
Al Wilson.
Right,
Wilson,
yeah, Al Wilson. They had some the running backs. I can't remember the name. Docs.
Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, yeah. And they not Jamal Lewis. They had another dude, real Doxkin dude. I forget what his name was.
Henry.
Travis Henry. And so playing there and the way like the stadium kind of like went straight up and came up over you and had 115,000. I'm coming from Marshall where, you playing in front of like 20,000. I thought the Georgia Stadium was nice, but getting there and it was just like, man, I'll tell you, it was absolutely, to me, that was the craziest part. And I was like, yo, this is a different type of football.
It's different, yeah.
Hey, man, shout out to Little Pope and his wife, man. That's another great Georgia tight end. They checking in.
Yeah,
that's what's up.
The stadium down in the SEC. I mean, I didn't even see that in the pros, like the way that those stadiums, whether it was Auburn or remember the year we played at LSU. Yes, and I didn't know that they brought out a real tiger. I'm like, these mugs bringing out a real tiger. I was like, damn. So
it's serious down here.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So clearly the budget was different.
Yeah.
Clearly.
All right. AP said statement for Wiggins. He said, thanks for all the talks of confidence, stand down, getting stronger, faster. He said, I just couldn't stay eligible to walk on the football team, but y'all showed me love. All right, so this is a question for everybody on the panel, and we're gonna let Shawty start. If Marcus Sellers say, who on the team laid the hardest hit on you?
From when I played,
yeah.
Well, I was fortunate enough, being a smaller guy, I never really took a lot of big hits. But I can recall one time at Sanford Stadium, we had a scrimmage. Shout out to Big Skrill. I caught a screen pass across the middle, and as soon as I caught it, he was in my face, man. And that's probably, it wasn't very hard. It looked worse than it was, but that's probably one of the more memorable hits that I remember. And the play after that, I took about 90 to the house too.
There it is.
Put that in there.
What about you, Wiz? Who hit you hardest in practice?
Man, who used to hit harder than a mug was Orantez Grant and Tony Gilbert. Like Tony Gilbert had like a big neck or something with his neck. Like he had some bricks or something in his neck, and Tony had a big neck. But man, we had some linebackers though when I played, and Boss was a young pup at the time. Man, we had some players, man, and Big C, man. Big C was him and Stroud. I was like, man, what's in this water down here? Man, Champ jumping out the gym. These dudes are standing like 6'8", 6'9". I'm like, man, this is a whole nother world. Yeah,
it's crazy. What about you, JV, man? You got to tussle down there, man. Who gave it to you like that in practice, man?
Man, I had two guys that are completely unrelated that just, man, I think they might be responsible for some of my concussion syndrome I suffer from right now. And one of them was an older guy, man, Brandon Tolbert. When I first stepped on the field and I seen a dang on 6'4.5", 6'5", white boy wearing number 28 and lined out the hands the size of somebody's waist. I was like, what's in this water?
You said the same thing.
But he hit me on the goal line one day. And I thought like my whole left side just stopped working. I mean, literally, my face was tingling. My whole shoulder started it just went limp. I had never felt anything like that. So that was the absolute hardest hit I ever took. And then the second one, right behind that one, was on a special teams practice at Sanford Stadium, and we were doing onside kick, and I got hit in the side of the face by Jermaine Phillips by Flip. And he had, I think he hit me with that big ab that he had, because he had a six pack, but two of the abs were way larger than the rest of them.
Yeah. Hey, right quick, I want to just shout out to Wiggs, man, for coming on the show. He got to run, man. We appreciate you showing us a little love, man, coming on, man. You're welcome to come back anytime, man.
I want to do this again. So whenever y'all need me, just hit me up, man. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I'm glad everybody is staying blessed, and it's good to catch up with everybody. And I get down there now, so when I get to Atlanta, I'm gonna hit everybody up, and we're gonna have to link up. So
we're gonna link.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, dog.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, man. All right. Anybody else in the comments got some questions? Hold on. Somebody had a question. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Jasper Jenkins say, which SEC team y'all played had the worst fans? E-Rob.
Like what? I guess I don't know what you mean by worst, but I mean,
like, you know, I think it's sometimes, I don't know, I guess because y'all be on the field. I don't know if y'all even can hear the fans or what they be saying or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like basketball. Oh, okay. That's why. Maybe that's what he talking about. I don't know. Like if the worst fans, like maybe throwing trash at you or saying obscenity. Tennessee. Dad say Tennessee. It ain't close. It ain't even close.
Yeah, Tennessee for me too, Coach.
What'd you say, JB?
Hey, I'm gonna say this: they the worst fans because they the best fans. I'm gonna say LSU fans because that game we went to LSU. Literally, we were on our way to the stadium. I ain't seen so much naked butt in my life. I mean, naked old butt. I mean, it was like 80-year-old moons out there, bro. Those folks was giving it to us going down that tailgate road, and they didn't care. They just put it all the way down to the ankles and give you that moon. But they crazy because they the best fans. You know, those guys. You know, they do it really big in LSU. But just as far as people who, I guess, suck, it would be Tennessee.
Hey, from a fan point of view, Tennessee is it's kind of hard to beat Tennessee fans, man. I don't know. I don't like Tennessee. I don't like the fans. I don't like the stadium because our guys always getting hurt up there. I don't know if they don't cut the grass low enough or what's going on in the stadium. Last year, I think when we played them, they players was getting hurt. I was like, I don't even like playing at Tennessee because we might get somebody hurt.
Only thing good come out of Tennessee road, man.
If Leonard's still watching, you and your wife Raquel, let's get them on the show.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yep.
Hey, all former Dogs alumni. Hey, listen, man, this is a show for the Dogs by the Dogs. So we trying to keep this thing running. Last year, I think CA or E-Rob might have mentioned at the beginning of the season that we started this last year on the way to a natty run. Let's help them on the way to a natty run again, man. So
that's right.
Yeah, man.
Hey, y'all, real quick. So Tennessee not only are badass fans in football, let me tell you, baseball, dude, it's only about 2,000 or 3,000. I don't know, it might be probably 10,000 people. Dude, they had a whole stadium rocking, and they don't sit down the whole time. And mind you, they were really good too. So they was kicking our butts up and down the field. They going crazy. And dog, I'm gonna tell you, one song I don't never, ever want to or need to hear ever again. And they play that thing every
time. They do.
Then they go off and they right back at it, man. Yeah.
Listen, Carlo say Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss got bad fans.
But I ain't gonna say nothing about the fan. But I'm gonna be, I'm gonna try to keep this, keep this. But I'm gonna tell you what, that's a place I don't want to go back to. I'm just gonna put it like that. Oh man, we went to that stadium. When I tell you they so stuck in time. They had first of all, that was the first hotel I stayed out there. The rooms were on the outside. We didn't even go inside to the rooms on the outside. And they had the soda machine. You remember when you were little, you had the soda machine, they had the big square tab. You had to push the button and pull the thing down and get your chain back. Bro, that was the worst. That's the worst SEC trip I have ever taken.
Oh
Fans
my
right.
God!
Fans
Y'all didn't even.
Hey, coach, literally one of our teammates, CT, Chris Terry. I think they were in their room, dog, and they had like some type of. It looked like they said it was blood in their bed, man. Like it was crazy.
They were trying to set y'all up in the back.
Yeah, that's the.
They were trying to set y'all up in the backwoods, dog, man. All right, man. Y'all got any point words before we get off of here and focus on these chickens this week and take another step towards Atlanta for the SEC championship?
One thing I will say is some of the guys alluded to it earlier. We all have talked about it. I hope we don't I don't like to have the mindset that we can just flip a switch. JB said it earlier. Last week was one of the first times in a long time, maybe 12 to 14, 15 games that I seen us. We just didn't look like we were ready to play. We're going into our third game. Once again, the offensive line has not been dominant. They have not been great at the point of attack. I don't want to just be able to turn on the switch. Let's start next week. Offensive line, proving and showing your dominance up front.
I'm with you on that because I remember in the interview one time Kobe said, "Hey man, you don't wake up and be great. You either great every day or you're not great at all." So, dogs, let's be great this weekend down in Columbia, man. Let's go ahead and get our predictions before we roll up out of here. I'll go ahead and start it off. I think we 24.5-point favorites. I think the Dogs, JV or E-Rob alluded to it, man, because we had that week of lack of focus last week. I think we are going to be dialed in. I would have hated to be in that practice yesterday or today with the coaches like that. So I'm going to go with 38-10. That's what I'm going with. I'm going to 38-10, and I do believe we'll cover because I think we will be back focused this week. E-Rob, what you got?
Oh, damn, you took my score, Coach. I was going to say 38-10, but I'm going to say 38-13. I'm going to say they get a couple of field goals at the end.
All right, Thad, what you got?
I was thinking 38-10 too, so I'm going to go 34-10.
Okay, I got you. JV, finish us off, dog.
Man, I'm going to take the over on us, so I think we're going to drop 42 on them because I think these kids going to be a little salty. When it comes to that defense, man, we've been playing at a real static pace, bro. I don't think that Spencer Rattler got a whole bunch of venom for us on Saturday, so I think we're going to take him out the game pretty easily, but I'm going to give him 10 points just because I feel like he's an adequate quarterback, and they're going to be trying everything they can to knock off the number one team in the country. So with that being said, I'm going 42-10.
There it is, 42-10.
This year thus far.
That's right, Spencer. He will. That's a good point. Our boy CA got a little comments. He say 38-13 Dogs. Carlos say 35-10 Dogs. So I think we all kind of in agreement that they about 2 scores and under, as far as that defense. So like I say, they've been kind of laser focused, man. All right, man, we want to thank these dogs for getting in the comments. Shout out to Wiggs, man, for showing up, giving us some time, man, and coming into the inside the locker room. For my guys missing in action today, CA, Cool Cow, and prayers out to Cool Cow mom for a speedy recovery.
Absolutely.
And then for my guy Thad, E-Rob, JV, I'm Coach Ives, inside the locker room fan that we out here. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. We ain't hard to find.